Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic Volume 7, Episode 14. If you are headed off to Gen Con in a few days, be sure to come say hi. I am in booth, looking it up. I am in booth 2946 nearly every morning from 10 to at least noon is when I'm planning on being there in the Grand Gamers Guild booth. So come say hi, and maybe we can set up a time to play a game or two together. That'd be awesome. But today we are doing puzzles. And today's puzzle is a Slitherlink, one of my favorite types of puzzles, but this one is on a non-square grid, so we'll see what impact that has right after we take a look at the rules. In Slitherlink, we connect pairs of adjacent dots along the grid lines to form a single, non-intersecting loop. So these dotted lines, we're going to draw a path along them that forms a loop. There are never going to be any intersections that have more than two edges incident on them, because that would make for a fork or a loop. Clues represent the number of edges drawn surrounding the clue, up to 6. So this 2 up here says there are going to be exactly 2 edges. In this case, it's this one and that one that touch that cell. The 0 has no edges around it. This 4 has 1 up here and 3 over here, so you can see they don't have to be adjacent to one another. And those are all of the rules of Slitherlink. So it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Slitherlink is set by Freddie Hand. There are 2 basic ways of approaching a Slitherlink, and one is to mark the edges that can't be part of the loop as you're going along. That can work as your only auxiliary mark. Or you can mark cells as being inside the loop or outside the loop. That can be helpful. Both of them have their strengths. I prefer marking things inside and out unless I hit some sort of a roadblock that requires me to mark things the other way. So I'm changing the input mode in composite to the one that is called Edge IO, for edge inside and outside. Sometime I'll actually learn all of the things that Penpa can do. But for now, I know that that is a mode that will allow me to do this marking. I could also use the switch between composite and surface mode to do that. But I'll try this edge IO. And so if I click once, I'm going to mark it in with the yellow, and if I click twice, it will be green, which is out. So what can I do right away? This 4 looks like it is, the 4 and the 5 have the same property. So let's think about how we could surround this with 4 edges. 4 edges means that of these 6, at least one of them has to be one of these 3, because we could draw lines on all 3 of these edges. We'd still have one left over. And if one of these has an edge, all of them have an edge because it's on the outside of the grid there. There's nowhere else to go. So that tells us that all 3 of those are edges, and therefore this is inside the loop. The same thing's going on with the 5. We could possibly have all 4 of these have edges, but we'd still have one left. So that means those 2 definitely are, and that is in the loop. We don't have the same property on these 3s, though. They could go either way. I think, just like in regular Slitherlink, if I can think of it an analogy, a large number next to a small number is probably pretty helpful. So this 5-2 is very suspicious to me. I'm wondering if that means that this can't be. I was gonna say I think. Well, let's look at the 0, and in fact, I will do the auxiliary marks on this just to illustrate this a little better, because since we can't have either of these be edges in the loop, we can't have this one be an edge, because then it would come in here and have to turn in one direction. So that is not part of the loop, and this, by the same token, this one's not part of the loop, which puts our 2 in 2 of these 3 slots. That tells me for this 5 clue that it can't have its gap on the right side, because if it did, because 5 of these are going to be lines and one of them is not going to be a line. If the non-line were here, then we'd have an edge coming in here and having nowhere to go. Or another way of thinking about that, if any edge touches this dot, then both of these do. So we've got 0 or 2 edges here, and obviously with the 5 we can't have it be 0 because we wouldn't have enough edges to go around. So those 2 are definitely part of the 5. And that was a lot of work. Oh, but we can do the same thing on this other side, and the 3 is a bit more definitive. We can't have an edge here or here, and that only leaves us with 3. So let's draw those in, and this has got to turn away from that. Okay, and then this doesn't get an edge, but we could have edges. Oh, yeah. So this is not an edge because it would touch right here. And here's another 5. So the same thing that happened down here. We can't have both of these. We can't have either of these be empty because then both would have to be empty. So they're both definitely lines. And that gives us some more coloring we can do. So whenever there's an edge in between 2 cells, the coloring reverses itself. So it'll reverse itself here along this wall. It goes along this wall. Our 4 clue needs 2 more edges. It can't be this one because they're the same color. That's how I usually think about it. We could also do our other logic, but now that I've got colors, I'm going to stick with colors. So the other 2 go right there, and it keeps on going this way. That puts these inside the loop, which means we have to draw the line around the outside there. That tells us how the 5 works, because this is a gap. So that has an edge, which makes this outside the loop. The loop comes down here. That is all 4 of these. So these 2 are both inside. The 3 clue needs a 3rd, and it's none of these. Those are between the same color. So it switches color down here like that. And a 0 clue, it's got to be the same color as all the ones surrounding it. So we've got yellow all around here. We've hit a wall that is green. We've got 2 different colors. They've got to have a wall between them, and that gives us our 4. See, so once you get the colors going, it really snowballs fast. So that's 4 of these. So that means these are both going to be green. That means this is a wall. We need another wall around here. Green is our exterior color, so it's not going to be those. So it has to be here and making that inside. And inside needs to meet other insides, so it goes down at least that far. And we have to draw a line around it to contain it. This cell needs 5 edges, and we've got 4 of them. This can't be the 5th, so that's the 5th. So this one's inside. We got a place where we need to draw a line there. This inside region needs to meet the rest, so it's going to keep on going. And our 4 is done, so this needs to not be a wall, so that is also green. And the yellow needs to keep on coming around to meet other yellow. And now we've got the 3 edges that we need for this one. So it doesn't have any more edges. So these 2 are also going to be yellow. That gives us the 1 edge we need for this one, which means this one's yellow. And this has to continue around here. And let's see, this 2, we need another one right there. That finishes off the 2, and that makes this an outside clue, which gives us some more walls. And we just have to figure out, this wall comes in here. Which side of this 3 is it going to come around? Is it going to come around this side, or is it going to come around this side? Either way, the wall has to continue there. Because it can't, it has to have all or none of these 3. So that there, by that same token, if this is none, then this is all. And if this is all, this is none. So it either comes around the top or around the bottom. And then comes around here, meaning this is an inside cell. And this is an outside cell, so it's got to reach the outside. So it's got to sneak out that way. And we can draw some more edges in because of that. And we've got 3 edges incident on this, bordering this cell. So that has all 3 that it gets, which means this is the same color. And that finishes off this side like so. And this 2 will disambiguate the 3 because the 2 needs another wall. It's right there, which means this is an outside clue. And if it's an outside clue, we can finish off our 2 walls to separate the colors there and there. And that is how you solve a Slitherlink.